happened there? Good morning, if it's morning where you are, and welcome to Middle Age Moto. I hope the sun isn't too bright in the camera, but I am out for a cruise on a brisk 55-degree Fahrenheit day. It is definitely a chillier morning. Got my winter jacket on, but do not have the liner in it, and kind of wishing that I did. Hope all is well. Sorry for the lack of video last week. My tires got to the point that I didn't feel that it was as safe as I would like to be riding. I noticed my front tire, merely because of my lack of due diligence to make sure my tire pressure is correct, my front tire had cupped quite a bit, and the high points had pretty much become bald. And it's kind of funny that when something happens in a progression, a slow progression on your bike, you know, you kind of get used to it. It's when you have that sudden change in characteristic that you're like, ooh, something's wrong. Whereas if it's a slow progressive thing, it tends to just go kind of unnoticed. But we're smooth as heck. We've got new tires on. I put them on yesterday. I went with the Michelin Road 5s front and rear. This is my third rear tire at just over 8,000 miles. My original front. So I did get maybe push that front a little bit farther than I should have. But needless to say, we're up and running, and we got new feet all the way around. So depending on the weather, we should be having some consistent videos. I'm going to try to set a actual specific date that I launch them, or be consistent. I'm not going to promise anything right now. Work's been crazy, life's been crazy. Wife and I have the photography habit, so she's got me out most weekends. So we're fitting in this ride this morning before we go and do that. All right, so from the title of this video, my Ducati Monster, and now that I've researched, I find out that it's kind of a common trait. It's got gremlins, and what I mean by that, just to clarify, and after doing research, I've kind of found that it's not alone. It's got intermittent stuff that happens, weird stuff. First being the fuel gauge. Fuel gauge in several of my videos wasn't working. I spoke about it. I never had anything done to it. It's been working for the last 3 times I've ridden the bike at least. So fuel gauge fixed itself, worked out the problem. My concern is my warranty on the bike is over in February, and if it goes bad, it's an out-of-pocket expense. But with that said, I threw some clips on, and it may be hard to tell right before this video started. When I was riding the last ride I did, the bike lost power. It kind of cut off. It felt as if the quick shifter, you know how a quick shifter, anyone that has a quick shifter, when you engage it, it cuts the power for, a split second so that it can shift. And it felt kind of like that was engaging. Well, that's what was happening. It happened to me several times on that ride, and then it kind of never happened again. So the big problem with an intermittent problem, now I don't have a lot of experience working on motorcycles, but I do have some pretty strong, for the norm, diagnostic skills as far as automotive applications are concerned. Growing up, my dad and I built a bunch of performance cars, and I've had a bunch of older Corvettes that I built engines for, and needless to say, it's an endless amount, an array of problems and sorting things out to get everything running correctly. Gremlins, if you will. But what my dealer has told me, which, you know, it's pretty much the same for a car, it doesn't throw a code in the computer. It doesn't throw a check engine light when any of these things happen. All it does is really cause the problem, and then the problem kind of disappears. And it makes diagnostics very, very hard. So I did some research on the fuel gauge, and a lot of the research that I got was the sending unit. Bad, poor wiring in the actual piece. It sets up no code. It basically just is an intermittent issue when the bike gets warm, but this really was happening all the time. With the power loss, there's been several people with the same bike, maybe different years and stuff like that, that the quick shifter was actually failing, was going bad. So what I was going to do, if the problem persists, was shut the quick shifter off and see if that made a difference. You have the ability in your dash or in your works on this computer to actually shut off the quick shifter, either up, down, or both. And I was just going to shut it off and see if the problem persists, maybe trying to isolate it. But there was also people that there's in the electric box, I believe it's a sending unit, or not a sending unit, but a resistor. A resistor, there we go. It's coming out. It's early in the morning. There's a resistor for the throttle, a throttle resistor or a fuel resistor, and it's cheap. I mean, it's just a Bosch resistor, and if that goes intermittent or bad, it will cause the fuel to not know how, you know, the injectors to not operate correctly and cause the same problem. Then I kept reading on, and there was someone that it turned out that the kill on the kickstand was causing a similar issue. So it's like, wow, you know. You know, the thing about technology in this day and age, you know, and why I love some old bikes, that's why the Tenere is so enticing to me, because all it has is ABS. I mean, no traction control, nothing. No rider aids, just you get on and ride. It's just less to go bad. So needless to say, it's been working flawless today. It worked flawless the last half of my ride when it actually happened. And I really, you know, I don't know what to do. I called my dealer. They said it could be any one of the things that I listed, which, you know, of course, they're not, you know, mind readers on what's going on the bike. But they also said that if there's no code, it's more or less just, you know, testing voltages and trying to find out. But a lot of the time, these are real hard to diagnose because they're intermittent. You know, the best thing would be to let them ride the bike a little bit and see if it does it to them. But, you know, I don't want my bike, this is, like I said on a couple videos back, this is my riding time. You know, it's very hot in Alabama in the summer. It's much more enjoyable to be out, you know, this time of the year, although I am a little chilly today. But, you know, it's definitely something that I don't want to let go. I've never been stranded on the bike, and you know, I'm going to be honest, I kind of knew getting into a Ducati that you know, there were some bugs and quirks that usually present themselves, but I didn't really think at 8,000 miles, but you know, you never know. I guess it's just hit or miss. But we're going to deal with the Gremlins today. So far, the bike has been just kind of rolling out fantastic. No issues whatsoever. It feels really good to have new tires on it. They're definitely, I can't believe how rough it was with the cupping. So anyone out there that doesn't check their tire pressure on a regular, do it, because it'll end up costing you money or bad performance, or even get your tires to a point where, like mine, that I would consider them a little bit dangerous. I've got these new tires. It's an expensive investment. It cost me about $500 US to get installed, front and rear. Michelin Road 5s. The rear tire lasted almost 3 times as long as my original Pirelli. And there's another video, I'll try to link it in here, on what I think of the Michelin Road 5s. But my riding style, I don't really do track days or anything like that. I do get aggressive, and today I'm scrubbing the tires in, so I'm just kind of chilling. But you're with me on a lot of my rides and see how I ride. I'm at that age that I just chill. But I've never really had any problems with performance out of these tires, or felt that a tire was limiting what I could do or make me feel uncomfortable. So with that said, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my ride today, and hopefully stay warm. And I will talk to you all soon. And if you heard something you like, please like, subscribe, and throw a comment in there. I'm getting a couple more subscribers trickling in. I think I'm up to 12 now. Just had a gentleman that is a Ducati Monster 1200S rider join the journey with me, so it's fantastic. And with that, I bid you a wonderful day and a good week this week.